You planned the walk, the meditation, the nourishing meal, the journal, and the early bedtime. It sounded lovely on Sunday night. Then Tuesday arrives. You are tired, your emotions are close to the surface, and choosing what to eat feels like a major decision. Now the self-care plan is not supporting you. It is quietly making you feel guilty. What if the problem is not your discipline? What if the plan is asking for more capacity than you have? Welcome to the Self-Care Cafe podcast. I'm your hostess, Pammy Parker. Here at the cafe, we take a gentle pause from the busyness of life and gather around conversations that nourish the heart, the mind, and the spirit. Today, we are looking at a kinder way to choose self-care, one that begins with the energy you actually have. So settle in, take a breath, and let's begin. I call this the capacity compass. It is not a score, it is not a personality type, and it is certainly not a measure of your worth. It is a way to ask, with honesty, what resources are available today, and what kind of care can meet you there. And there is one distinction I want to make early. Sometimes what we call self-care is really aspirational self-improvement in disguise. We choose the most elaborate version of a practice because it represents the person we hope to become. That can be inspiring when we have room for it, but during a transition, it can feel like one more job. Real care is not always the most impressive option. It is the option that leaves you a little more supported than it found you. That might be a long walk. It might also be sitting on the edge of the bed and drinking water before answering another message. Imagine a woman who has just started a demanding job while helping a parent through a difficult season. On Monday, she has enough energy to get through work, but almost no emotional space left when she gets home. A beautiful evening routine may be completely unrealistic. Her care might be a simple dinner, one text to a trusted person, and an earlier stop to the day. That is low capacity. It does not mean she is weak, unmotivated, or permanently stuck. It means her reserves are being used elsewhere. Capacity includes physical energy, but it also includes attention, time, money, decision-making, social energy, and emotional space. On a low-capacity day, care needs to be close to the ground. Put a glass of water beside the bed. Eat something simple. Sit down before you absolutely have to. Turn off one notification. Ask someone else to make one decision. Let the shower be the entire accomplishment. Notice what is happening here. We are not lowering the value of care. We are lowering the amount of effort required to receive it. A few days later, our composite listener may have a little more room. She can prepare a basic meal, take a 20-minute walk, or make the appointment she has been postponing. This is steady capacity. There is energy available, but it is not an unlimited supply. Her plan needs to remain human-sized. Steady capacity is a good time for supportive routines. Schedule a break before you need one. Tidy one small area, because order helps your mind breathe. Write for 10 minutes. Meet a friend for tea. These choices ask something of you, but they also return something meaningful. Then there are replenished moments. Life is not perfect, but you have more curiosity, energy, or emotional room. You may feel ready to learn, create, connect, or stretch. Perhaps you take a class, plan a day in nature, begin a creative project, or have an honest conversation about what you want next. The important thing is that these are temporary conditions, not identities. You can be physically tired and emotionally available. You can be socially open but unable to make decisions. You might wake up depleted and feel steadier by afternoon. The compass gives information. It does not hand out labels. This is also where a little friction can be useful. You might be thinking, if I always choose the easiest version, how do I know I am caring for myself rather than avoiding growth? That is a wise question. The test is not whether the practice is hard. The test is whether it fits your real resources and leaves you more resourced afterward. Sometimes growth asks us to do something uncomfortable, but if a practice repeatedly leaves us depleted, ashamed, or unable to meet basic needs, it may be too large for this moment. Adaptation is not avoidance when it helps you remain present for your life. Let's take one intention and resize it. Rest on a low-capacity day might mean lying down for 10 minutes without trying to make the time productive. On a steadier day, it might mean protecting an evening from unnecessary commitments. When you feel replenished, it might mean taking a weekend away or learning what kind of rest restores you best. The intention stays the same. The form changes. Connection can be resized too. When you are depleted, send a heart emoji, listen to a familiar voice note, or sit near someone you trust without explaining everything. With more room, make a short call or meet for coffee. When you feel replenished, host a gathering or offer support to someone else. Mindfulness can become smaller as well. Feel your feet on the floor and take one comfortable breath. That counts. If you have more space, sit for 5 minutes and notice your thoughts. A longer class or retreat can be meaningful later, but it is not the entrance requirement for being present with yourself today. You may notice self-care has become too demanding when you think, if I cannot do it properly, why bother? Or when you finish the practice while criticizing yourself for not doing more. Or when you compare your complicated private day with someone else's polished routine. That is not proof that you are lazy. It may simply be information. Resize the practice. A person recovering from illness, adjusting to a new role, grieving a change, or navigating prolonged stress may need a different menu of care than they did 6 months ago. Your needs can change without becoming a moral issue. One way to make this practical is to prepare 3 small menus, not a rigid schedule, just a few believable possibilities for different kinds of days. For very little energy, write actions you can begin without negotiating with yourself. Put water beside the bed. Lie down with my phone in another room for 5 minutes. Text one safe person. I am having a hard day and do not need solutions. Keep the choices specific enough that a tired mind can recognize them. For steady energy, include practices that require a little planning and offer a meaningful return. Prepare 2 simple meals. Walk around the block. Write for 15 minutes. Make a routine appointment. Ask a friend to meet you for tea. For replenished energy, think beyond productivity. What helps you feel alive, connected, curious, or more fully yourself? Maybe it is dancing in your kitchen, visiting a museum, taking a class, planning a day in nature, or having the deeper conversation you have been postponing. Your menu does not need to be impressive. It needs to be believable. If you look at an option and immediately think, I could never do that today, make it smaller or move it to another menu. A care plan should be available to the person you are, not only to the person you hope to be. First, ask yourself, what is here? Notice without needing to explain. Maybe there is tiredness, tension, sadness, relief, restlessness, or simply a blankness. You do not have to turn the feeling into a story. Now ask, what do I have? Consider your actual resources. Do you have 5 minutes? A little privacy? One supportive person? Enough energy to stand? Or only enough energy to breathe and receive? Let the answer be honest. And finally ask, what would support me, not impress me, not fix my whole life, not prove that I am doing well? What would support me just enough right now? Maybe the answer is water. Maybe it is a boundary. a lower light, a step outside, or a request for help. If no answer arrives, choose the smallest kind thing available. Small is not insignificant when it is offered at the right moment. As you return your attention to the room, notice that your worth did not have to be measured. You simply listened for useful information. That is the heart of the capacity compass. Notice what is here. Notice what you have. Choose what supports you, and revise the choice as life changes. This week, try one compassionate experiment. Write down one low capacity practice, one steady capacity practice, and one replenishing practice. Keep the list somewhere easy to find. You are not making a contract with yourself. You are preparing kind possibilities for different kinds of days. And if you would like help creating your menu, visit the Self-Care Cafe website through the link in the episode notes to download the printable Capacity Compass Reflection Guide. It will help you notice your resources and choose care that feels realistic for your life. Thank you for listening. May you take good care of the energy you have today without asking it to pretend it is unlimited. Come as you are. Leave nourished.